Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. My name is Derek Iverson, and I am a membership community manager with CXPA. Surprise, I am not Gabe Smith, CCXP, CXPA's content manager, who typically hosts our live with CXPA sessions. But I am so honored to MC this session today because today is an exciting day. Today is a special day, not only for the CXPA community, but for the entire CX profession as a whole. Today is the day where we get to finally announce the winners of CXPA's first ever Emerging Leader in CX Award. Now, there have been a number of CXPA members just like you and key volunteers who have been hard at work for the past year to make this new awards program a reality. And I cannot think of a better program myself to match CXPA's new mission statement. Let me go ahead and bring up what the mission statement is for you all to see again. So CXPA's newly adopted mission statement is we support CX professionals to share, learn, inspire, and grow throughout their entire career. Now, something that I love about this new mission statement is just how much emphasis that it puts on to you as the CX professional that we are working to serve to share, learn, inspire, and grow. And I cannot wait to introduce you to all the various individuals who have been helping us achieve that very mission. So we have a pretty packed agenda today, but what I'm going to do first is invite all of you to use our the chat section there to introduce yourself. Introduce yourself. Let you know, or let all of us know where you are joining us from today. And first, how we're going to kind of run this broadcast is I am going to introduce you to members of the Emerging Leader Awards Planning Committee. To showcase how our community truly came together to plan, execute, and support the award. And then I'll introduce you to the 5 winners of the award so you can hear firsthand from who the diverse global judging panel has deemed the rising voices in the CX industry. And then finally, we'll hear the perspectives from some of our judges and what they learned from being part of this process. So first, let me take a look at some of the comments that are coming in here before I bring us all on. Tanya is joining us from Mexico. Hello there, Tanya. We got Massimiliano from Italy. Hello there. Brenda we got Scott from San Diego. Brenda from Indianapolis. This is awesome seeing all of you join us from across the globe. So many different time zones too. This is awesome to see. Now let me go ahead and bring some of our committee members up. So the first guest that I would like to introduce you all to is none other than previous board chair, Bob Asman, CCXP. Hi there, Bob. How you doing today?
Hey, Derek, I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing great too, despite the negative 31 degree Fahrenheit wind chill here in Minneapolis. Doing okay. How's it looking in Texas right now?
Well, we're in the midst of a freezing rainstorm that's been going on for 2 days. So Texans can't handle that kind of weather, and everybody's kind of going crazy down here.
Right. Well, as a Minnesotan, as a Minnesotan yourself too, I'm sure you can certainly empathize. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
So Bob, if I remember correctly, if I go all the way back, to my inbox history in 2020, it was your crazy idea about a year ago to found this brand new Emerging Leader in CX Award. So I'd love for you to share with our audience how this idea really came to be.
Well, thanks, Derek. And I too see all the people joining from across the world, which is fabulous. And hello to everybody that is joining us. And thanks, Derek, for your leadership with this award and representing the CXPA. It was a crazy idea, and let me tell you how it kind of got started. I had been observing lists, and many of my CX professionals can relate to this. I had seen the top 10 CX professionals in Europe, the top 100 CX influencers in the world, the top 50 CX professionals in the US. You name it, there were list after list after list of CX professionals. And when I would look at those lists, and I would see a lot of the same people on the list, many of the colleagues I've known, very well respected within the CX community, within CXPA. I knew many of my colleagues, but one thing that kept coming to my mind repeatedly was, what about the people we don't know about? These are the practitioners and consultants and business partners on these lists that we know of. What about the people we don't know about? What about the professionals that are just coming in to the customer experience profession and are beginning to really demonstrate some breakthrough ideas, some innovative approaches to design, ways to look at employee experience differently? And so that's kind of rumbled around in my mind. And, I'd love to say that this was a well thought out, innovative idea, but the reality is it was a reaction to what I was seeing and really a passion that I have for developing, coaching, and providing opportunities for the emerging leadership within the CX profession at a time, pre-pandemic, where I really thought we needed to nurture the future leaders of CX. And by the way, that doesn't mean generationally the youngest people. That means people coming into the profession for perhaps the first time. So I called a few people that I know, some of them even on those lists, and I said, "Hey, I got this crazy idea, Derek, to your comment. I've got this crazy idea." And I can't remember what we called it back then, Derek, but it doesn't matter. But it was about, how do we recognize the people that are up and coming? How do we celebrate their success so we build the next generation of CX leadership in our profession? And a few people that I talked to said, "Yeah, it's kind of a crazy idea, but I like it. And so let's start building it out." So we worked with the CXPA board. We worked with Greg Melia as CEO of the CXPA. We worked with Derek on staff. And then we gathered a small group of people from across the globe on the organizing committee to develop this award, which, I mean, today is more exciting than the Golden Globes announcement. I mean, here it is in fruition, probably 18 months after we initially conceived of the idea that an Emerging Leaders Award was important to the future of CX. So that's what got us to today, Derek. Hats off to the core committee. You'll meet one of my colleagues in a minute that was on the core committee, for all the hard work that they did to bring us to today. All the judges that were involved, all the staff of the CXPA, many CX professionals around the globe that really helped make this day come true. And then also where we head in the future, in future awards, in nurturing the winners, the finalists, and also the future winners and finalists.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that story so much. And it seems to make so much sense. Again, for CXPA's mission, we have the Innovation Awards, which celebrates innovations, for certain companies. We have the Impact Awards, which are awarded on CX Day to celebrate those who have made big impacts in their organization. But it's true, there was that missing gap for those who are, emerging and becoming a rising voice to the CX profession as a whole, that are also creating innovations and impacts, at their organizations as well. So great. Thank you so much, Bob. The next guest that I would like to bring onto our stream is none other than CXPA volunteer extraordinaire and leader of the CXPA Melbourne Network, Anita Ciascio, CCXP. So good morning to you, Anita.
Oh, g'day, Derek. Thank you so much. So just speaking of weather, etc., we're in summer here in Australia, heading into autumn, and it's about 6 a.m. and we're starting to have a nice warm day. Thank you so much, Derek, for inviting me at this session today.
Of course. Thank you. And thank you again for all of your hard work, for participating in the core planning team for the Emerging Leader Award as well. You've provided so much insight and so much benefit to the entire committee. So really, we cannot thank you enough for all of your hard work. Anita, I would love for you to share with our audience, what is our definition of who an emerging leader is? So what types of CX professionals are going to be accepting this award today?
That's right. And I just want to go back and reflect. I think we started this initiative about 7 months ago, Bob and Derek. So a lot of research has actually been undertaken. And when we started looking at that, what is an emerging leader, we actually did quite a bit of research and thinking. And there was about 20 or so traits that we identified together with Des and Diane and Bob and the rest of the committee as well. But really, when you think about an emerging leader, and there are lots of definitions out there, we looked at it from our experience, as Bob mentioned, but also around, obviously, emerging is someone who's prominent and is able to actually bring in new thinking and connections and innovation. But then leadership is such a critical component. As CX leaders, we know it's a really hard slog, and you really need to have those right leadership skills, leading a group and actually being bold and results driven, and being able to make decisions and actions. And they were just some of the key traits and characteristics that we looked for when defining an emerging leader. So in our situation, we were looking for emerging leader in people who have been in the transitioning into the customer experience field or starting to, that really demonstrated that new thinking and those traits.
Yeah, absolutely. And to kind of briefly share with the audience as well. So Anita and Bob were two of the main committee members that were really hard at work in terms of defining what our judging criteria would be for determining who the award winners are today. To kind of give everybody a quick history on how this award program kind of rolled out as well. So it was on CX Day where we had announced that we were launching this award and had opened up nominations. What nominations looked like was we actually invited all nominees to submit a quick 3-minute video where we asked them 3 main questions, which were we wanted to learn how they got into customer experience, what a major impact was that they had made to their organization that they were proud of, and what their vision was for CX in the future. And this was criteria that Bob and Anita had defined. We received 30 nominee submissions, which was incredible to see that we had surpassed our goal. That was more nominations than we thought that we would get. And so then after that, we had opened up a call for our judging committee. So proud to see that we had 16 judges sign on to judge this award, represented from so many different countries. We had judges, we had, of course, a couple here in the US, but we had judges also in the United Arab Emirates, in Germany, in Australia, in Malaysia, and other parts of the APAC region, the AMEA region. So this truly was a global initiative, and there was support from people at all these different points across the map, and it was really awesome to see. So those judges had then identified who the 10 finalists were. We identified that right around Christmas time. But then after that, we invited each of the 10 finalists to participate in a 30-minute interview where we basically asked them the same questions from their submission video. But instead of 3 minutes, we invited them to speak for 30 minutes with either members of our judging panel or from our committee to learn more about their passion for customer experience. After we did that, we then sent all of the recordings. All these interviews were held virtually. We sent the recordings to our judging panel again. And from there, they narrowed it down from 10 finalists into 5 winners. So we are just minutes away from announcing who the award winners are. But Bob and Anita, I would love to hear again from you. I'll probably start with you, Anita. What do you think are some of the biggest benefits that this award will have, not only on the CXPA community, but I'd say to the CX profession as a whole too? How are we all becoming better?
Well, first of all, we're recognizing those up and coming emerging CX leaders. And so we're actually starting to watch how these leaders are going to be developing themselves, what they're doing out there in the community, and also start to act as role models for the future CX leaders as well. And there's a lot of work now being done in universities with regards to educating the customer experience management discipline. So that's one component. I think the other thing is we're also encouraging for people to actually see themselves as an upcoming emerging leader, to actually encourage them to research and seek out innovative ways of doing things. And it gives them that confidence plans. And of course, for seasoned CX professionals such as Bob, myself, and Des and Diane, we're actually love watching these people grow, but we're learning from them as well. We're learning new skills, and they're starting to incorporate, what are these new tools and technology that we can start to build in the CX and start to build the future of CX. So I think all of those benefits holistically together will benefit our community, but we're going to all continue to grow no matter if you've been in CX for 5 years or 20 or 30 years. It's evolving every day.
Absolutely. Thank you, Anita. Bob, how about yourself?
Well, just a couple of things to add. Anita said it so beautifully, but I'm reminiscing when you were going through the numbers, Derek. I remember a conversation we had, and that was, what happens if nobody wants to be a judge? And look at all the judges we have. And then we said, what happens if nobody applies? Or what happens if we only have 5 people apply and 30 people apply in its first year? And so, and from the very beginning, we said it needs to be global every step of the way. Global committee, global judges, global leadership or nominees. And so I think that aligns nicely with the CXPA strategy of globalizing the association. And that's a benefit where there's many CX professionals on this call right now that struggle to take strategy from paper to reality. And here we are taking a CXPA strategic initiative in one award to make it truly global and diverse within our community. So those are added benefits that we have where we're demonstrating the strategic intent. We're truly recognizing the global diversity of the association through these emerging leaders.
Yes, indeed. I just wanted to add as well, Derek, during our criteria process in documenting that the CXPA values of being connected, and that's what Bob has just described actually, and being authentic and being a champion of CX were the key drivers in us developing the criteria as well.
Yes, absolutely true there. Well, Bob and Anita, a big thank you to all of your hard work and for taking time out of your day to join our broadcast as well. I would be remiss if I didn't thank the rest of the Emerging Leader Awards Planning Committee as well. So to Board Chair Emeritus, Desiree Madison Biggs, CCXP, another Board Chair Emeritus, Diane Majors, CCXP, Denise Villano, CCXP, and Hassan Mohammed in CCXP. Big thank you to all of you for all of your hard work, and I cannot wait to continue working with you in the future. So take care, Bob. Take care, Anita.
Thanks, you. Bye-bye.
Alrighty, audience, it is now time for us to officially announce who the winners are of the first ever CXPA Emerging Leader Award. We prepared for you a short video so you can get to learn a little bit more about who they are. These are clips from their finalist interview, and then we will bring them on screen so we can continue to learn more about what made them winners of the award.
If you could just share with us again in your own words why you chose CX as a profession.
I was really lucky as a kid to have that light bulb moment go off. So believe it or not, I was 10 years old in the middle of a family vacation to Disney World, coming back, I think, from fireworks in the Magic Kingdom, when it kind of hit me that all of the fun, the magic, the memories that I was creating with family were there by design. And so now for the last 5 years since I've graduated, I've been with the Marriott organization, starting first with a couple of our hotels in the Ritz-Carlton, learning from the ground up how to deliver great customer experiences. I worked with discipline leaders across Marriott, from global food and beverage to global engineering, and identified at this point about 800 different tools, resources, best practices, job aids, things of that nature. So if a hotel sees, for example, that they need to focus on maintenance and upkeep, they can then find resources on how to do root cause analysis and figure out what are the challenges that guests are experiencing with maintenance.
Well, I think CX may have chosen me as a profession. So if I were to tell you that this was a explicit journey, I would not be honest. And so I'm learning. I would say I'm at the beginning to intermediate phase of my career, which is kind of funny at my stage of career to be thought of as an emerging leader. But I'm all for that because it's a benchmark to me that I pursued something and that it seems like I'm pulling some of the right levers along my journey. So this is very affirming to me. The vision for the profession is that we have to really focus on collaboration tools, collaboration process, and all of that is related to stakeholder engagement.
So I come from academia, so I have a PhD in psychology, developmental psychology actually, so hanging out with preschoolers. And so what I liked about CX is it was a really good opportunity to take what I learned in my PhD program about psychology and human nature, but also measurement and sort of measuring what people are thinking and measuring things that are hard to measure, like what a 3-year-old is thinking or what a customer is thinking. You can't necessarily kind of game the system of CX. You kind of have to actually provide the experience and really solve their problem is going to be the biggest thing to help. I think once they saw the data, then that was, and the way that I was able to sort of, graph it out in a way that felt persuasive to them, I think that helped a lot. They didn't have to say like, well, this doesn't feel right to me. It's like, okay, well, this is like very obvious in this graph you're showing me. So like, it's hard to kind of argue with that.
I hoped that customer experience would exist as a profession before I found out that it actually did. Working in marketing, I found that I didn't really have the power to bring all those pieces together to ensure that we were delivering on the promises we were making to our clients. You really have to just in your core care, and I think have a little bit of an activist heart. You have to really be motivated to do what you can to push for these improvements. Figuring out how our profession addresses issues of diversity and equity is really important. The diversity of our profession, whether we are representative of our customer bases and whether our tools and our approaches are really capturing needs appropriately. And I believe that oftentimes when we address the needs of our most marginalized customers, we end up making better experiences for everybody.
Customer experience and as a whole was always a part of what I was doing, but I never really put 2 and 2 together that there was a profession around it until I found my first typical response, right? Not many people know that there's this robust field around it. And when I got my first job in customer experience at Highland Software, that was the first time that the dots kind of connected and the stars aligned when it comes to, this is exactly what, customer service is. This is what customer experience is, that summation of all the different touch points. My desire to kind of read more books in CX and really kind of well-round myself in it paved the way for the CXP, which is where I was really ended up starting to focus on after I kind of got well into my CX career about a couple years in. Let's go through this whole new initiative and do this transformation where what we could do is start to connect the senior leaders directly with the customers that are giving the feedback in their department. So a really robust VOC program. That was something that took a lot of initial kind of influence and networking within the organization with senior leaders to get the buy-in to do.
Well, I am sure that I speak not only for myself, but for all of you that are watching too, just how inspirational these 5 individuals are. I mean, they not only are incredibly passionate about customer experience, but you can just really feel, how much they are driven to providing such a big impact, not only to the CXPA community, but to the CX community as a whole. I am so excited to bring them all on stream so we can get to know them all a little bit more. So the first emerging leader that I would like to bring onto the stream is Brandon Schossler, CCXP. Hello there, Brandon.
Hey, Derek. Hey, everyone. My name is Brandon Schossler. I am, as Derek said, CCXP from good old Cleveland, Ohio.
It's great. big congratulations to you for winning the award. And of course, it's always great to connect with you. I mean, you have been such a major part of the CXPA community for a number of years. Seriously, you are everywhere. You are publishing blog posts, doing webinar reviews for us. You used to lead the CXPA Cleveland network as well. You are just so incredibly dedicated to our association, and it shows. And I just wanted to make sure that you knew that, Brandon. So on behalf of CXPA as a whole, thank you for everything that you do for us.
Oh, absolutely. It's such a great organization to get involved with too. And what I found from day one getting involved with the CXPA is just the enthusiasm and the excitement in this community is contagious, and it's phenomenal, and it's so easy to get excited about because of the people that you're around and working with.
That's great. Brandon, you have kind of a unique professional history in terms of, what you were doing before you got into customer experience. So I would love for you to share with the audience more about how you found customer experience.
Yeah, happy to do that. So I guess I started with customer experience, or like my journey to get there started with being in, after I kind of came out of college, I started in retail management, and kind of in that space, I was doing that, but I also was running an entertainment company on the side, which is still something I do today in addition to my full-time job. And, when you're doing things like that, when you're in charge of a department in a retail setting, when you're running a small business, you're in it inadvertently interacting and controlling the way that you're designing these customer experiences, but you don't know what you're doing exactly. You don't know what the term is around it, but you're trying to provide these optimal experiences. And it was when I kind of got my first job in the customer experience profession at Highland Software, is when those light bulbs just immediately went off, where you're like, okay, this is exactly what customer experience is. There is an actual term around this. There's a field. It makes sense. And then it was that kind of self-study, not only in the role, but also kind of within the CXPA community, some of the different books I was reading. It was all about, okay, what else is there to this? And that was when I learned about things like journey mapping and designing experiences, from the ground up. And that's really kind of where the passion started to kind of grow from. But really, it was just kind of stumbling across it when it came to a job opportunity posted on the board. And I was thinking, what is this customer experience thing? I'd be interested to apply for this.
Brandon, I love that. Though, what is this customer experience thing? I think pretty much everybody that is dialed in has probably asked themselves that question at some point in time in their past. I love it. Brandon, another question for you. Where do you see the customer experience profession, headed within these next few years? What is your vision for customer experience in terms of where we're going and where you think we need to be?
So one of the things that I've been looking at personally, and I think it's going to be really cool to see, especially as the landscape starts to shift, obviously more digital and in general, is I'd love to see kind of CX getting implemented as a kind of a collaboration, a connection between not only internal departments, but also between, future thinking, present thinking. I'm thinking along the lines of CX innovation. How do you become disruptive using the principles of CX? How do you get in there and design these experiences, thinking of, future technologies and future processes, but really focusing on how we're impacting both the employee experience and the customer experience, which kind of summarizes to that overall human experience. But really kind of thinking about it from the perspective of, okay, we've established CX as a practice. We know what it exists. When I walk into a company, I can say CX, and most likely they'll probably have some kind of a department that's around it or an individual that is in charge of it. But how do we then become disruptive? How do we break the mold, break the model, infuse innovation in there, and get more creative about the way that we're designing these optimal experiences for customers?
That's great, Brandon. Thank you. I'd like to bring another guest quickly onto the broadcast, and that is actually a member of our judging panel that spent a lot of time getting to know you, Brandon, as a nominee and then finally as a winner of the Emerging Leader Award, and that is Jeannie Walters, CCXP. So to quickly introduce Jeannie Walters to the CXPA community, though, Jeannie, you really don't need an introduction. You have been such a volunteer extraordinaire for us for the past 10 years. Jeannie, I took a look at your membership record recently. You've been a member of CXPA since the very beginning. And again, I cannot thank you enough for all of your hard work throughout these years. So welcome to the stream.
Thank you so much. It's a thrill to be here, and nice to meet you officially, Brandon, and congratulate you on this extraordinary win, because we had an amazing slate of nominees and I really struggled. I'll be honest. It was hard to decide kind of what are the factors that really matter for the future of our industry. And what really stood out to me personally about you is community, which is just what Derek was talking about. And I am proud that I've been a member of the CXPA and been very involved for the last 10 years as my career has grown and changed. And I see you not only growing yourself, but helping us grow as a profession and everything else. So I just want to say thank you for all you're doing and congratulations. It was really a thrill to get to know your story a bit. And I think the future is very bright.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Alrighty, so Brandon, again, congratulations to you. Take care. I'm excited to continue to work with you in the future. Again, thank you so much and congratulations. Jeannie, we are going to be seeing more of you throughout the stream today. So I'm taking you off now, but we'll see you again in just another minute. Alrighty, everybody. That was Brandon Schossler, CCXP. The next guest that I would like to bring onto our stream today is Gloria Gupta. Gloria, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon from very cold Chicago. It's just a great opportunity to speak with the CXPA global community. And a big shout out to all of my AMA colleagues as well.
Yeah, Gloria, thank you so much for joining today. You also have a pretty unique journey in terms of how you got into customer experience. So I'd love for you to share that journey with the audience.
Well, I'm kind of unique in that kind of describes me for those that know me. But, I came to healthcare, and I'm actually a licensed healthcare practitioner in dentistry. And so I joined the American Medical Association many years ago and re-engineered a variety of business units. Ultimately had the opportunity to re-engineer our contact centers and have been working diligently for a number of years to integrate our sales and service and make that the best possible experience we could make. But by nature, service is going to be reactive. And so as the organization started to broaden our strategies for audience expansion and engagement, we realized that we need to do a lot more than provide outstanding benchmark service. We really needed to start creating proactively these experiences that would allow physicians and those other customers that we serve to really take full advantage of all of our organizational value. And so one thing that is a real good example of what we did this year is we reacted to the circumstances of the COVID challenges. And we became very passionate about making our organizational value available to our members in a seamless way. And so together we stood up a COVID Resource Center, which is a huge digital platform, which is now attracting millions of users. And it was based on a hue and cry from physicians and healthcare workers who needed vetted, scientifically based information and PPE to meet the standard of care. And this is not just about an organizational value proposition. This was a case study in customer experience transformation that involved our entire enterprise. And so it was born of customer listening. It was based on customer-centered design principles. It required alignment and very fast alignment across the organization for content development and subject matter expertise. And the very last thing is that our communication and marketing engine did such a great job of aligning all of the experiential touch points so that we ultimately could reduce customer effort and meet our organizational goals of getting our value out there. And so when you think about this kind of role, it makes us realize there are glimmers that we are advancing with our customer experience model, and it's very gratifying. So all about collaboration and all about pivoting from sort of a proactive approach to from a reactive approach to a very proactive design-centered mindset.
That's great, Gloria. Congratulations to you too, and to the entire AMA team that has also joined our stream
Yeah.
today. I see a lot of Gloria fans in the comment.
That's right.
Here's just a fun one from Gwen Biasi, CAE. Gloria, thank you for sharing that story.
Thank you.
I'd
You're
love to take a
welcome.
minute to kind of hear more of your perspective on what you believe the future of customer experience has for us. Where are we headed?
Well, thank you. I'm a little daunted by this question because I feel that I'm not new to a leadership role or a disruptor role or a re-engineering role. So I'm leading into those strengths and learning a great deal about customer experience. But one thing that if we want customer experience profession to continue to be a brand stabilizer and to be an accelerator of organizational goals, I feel like as a profession, we could step back and look at our content. We make it more discoverable and be able to leverage it for a knowledge base for our profession. There's certainly a plethora of information out there, but it's highly unstructured and it's kind of de facto based on our competency language, some of our subject matter expert models in maturity models, prioritization models, but we really don't have a specific purposive taxonomy. And if we created one for our profession and our content, I think that we would improve discoverability, and that would lead to the acceleration of our practices and the acceleration of our profession as a whole. So I'm excited about learning. Maybe there is one and I don't know what about it, but it seems to me as someone new to the content that we could do a better job of structuring it, and then we could all benefit from it greatly.
That's great, Gloria. Thank you. I just mentioned that there are a lot of Gloria fans in the comment section, but there's actually one that I really want to, bring onto the stream here and kind of share with everybody. And that's from Sylvia Mendoza, where she mentions that you had really brought CX to the next level for AMA. And it's very clear that our judging panel thought the exact same thing. So a big congratulations to you, and it's great that you have so much support at the AMA as well.
Well, it's definitely a team sport, and I would say, it's very humbling to be recognized, but this award really recognizes that we're doing as a team something that is on track. And I just thank all of the stakeholders that we work with and everyone that's involved. This is not a one-person team.
Absolutely. Gloria, there is another guest that I would like to bring onto the stream today, and that is actually another judge that really got to get to know you a lot as a emerging leader as well, and that is none other than our very own Gökhan Kara, Gökhan Kara, CCXP and CXPA board member as well, based out of Istanbul. So hello, good evening to you, Gökhan. Thank you for joining.
Thank you so much, Derek. It's a night here. It's almost a midnight, but it's really great to see you anytime. I really feel energized when I see you. And congratulations, Gloria. I really impressed from your video as well. I didn't judge in your. Actually, I wasn't there in person, but I watched your video, and I really impressed what you did. For the CX profession, and I'm really impressed from your character as well. You're transforming yourself. You're a lifelong learner, and I see that you have a lot of fans there. Or congratulate to you. And as a CXPA member and as a judge, I can say that thank you so much for your energy. Thank you so much that you put everything for CX profession. Thank you so much for your all of your efforts for this profession. And I already always saw from the video that we are really believing that profession, and you are putting all of your efforts into it, and you try to get this to the next level. I really felt that from your video as well. I can't believe if we can be come together in person and listen you, it would be a lot more effective on my side actually. So I just want to thank you and all of your efforts. I really appreciate it as a CX professional.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Appreciate your input. And again, you know, this is all about someone who has an idea, but no one idea is good enough. We have a lot of involvement, and that's what it takes to pull all of this through an organization.
That's
so
awesome.
Thank you, though.
Totally agree.
Great. Gloria, congratulations to you. GoCon, thank you again for all of your hard work judging the awards, and we're still going to see more of you as well. So we're still going to keep you handy here on today's stream. Other than that, Gloria, take care. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm very impressed. Thank you.
Okay, audience, it's time to meet our next winner of the Emerging Leader Award. This is actually a neighbor of mine, so to speak, another CXPA member who is located in the Twin Cities, and that is Danielle Whipperforth. By the way, this is probably the first time that I'm going to say this out loud, but Danielle Whipperworth, CCXP, because you had just passed your CCXP exam, right?
Yes, thank you, Derek. It's really good to see you. I hope you're staying warm.
Doing my best, that's for sure. I hope you are too. So Danielle, share with us, how did you get into customer experience? You have a background in marketing, correct?
Yep, I started my career in marketing, and I've always been really passionate about helping companies to figure out what they want to be known for. And what I came to learn in living in the world of marketing is that you can spend a lot of time helping companies to think about those things and even articulate those things. But in terms of delivering on those things and making sure you're living up to those promises, I found myself increasingly hungry to be involved with that part of the process. And so it was actually when I was working in India, leading marketing for a leadership development company. Our CEO was really intent on designing experiences very intentionally. And so our leaders would come from around the world to learn from leaders in India, and he would think about the environment for the discussions and the cultural experiences and the sights and the sounds and all the senses that they would experience. And I found myself really excited by the opportunity to bring those pieces together. Sometimes I think about it a little bit like an orchestra conductor. So a conductor has, their musicians that play all these different instruments, and our instruments are our people, our processes, our products, the environments that we have access to. And each of these things can be individually amazing, but unless they're brought together as a whole in a really cohesive manner, and unless everybody's playing in tune and in time, it's not going to make great music, and we're not going to get the most value from our assets. So I left that role really excited to find out how do I get to do that. And I went into my MBA program with that question, and none of the traditional MBA paths that I discovered there achieved that. And so when I left school, I consulted for a bit, trying to do customer experience work and combine that with branding work, and eventually networked with many CXPA members and found my way into this profession and into the role that I'm in right now. So it's been a great journey.
That's awesome, Danielle. Thank you. And that's really cool to hear that you got to work with so many different people across the globe, especially it sounds like that experience was, more early in your career. So I'm sure that just really continued to shape, the CX professional that you have grown to become. So that's really cool to hear. What is your vision for the profession too? Where do you think we're headed? I know it's a big question, right? But yeah, where I'd say, what track do you think we're on, or what track do you think we need to be on?
Yeah, that's a great question. There's really two things. I think about them more as questions that I'm pursuing the answers to. I think one is a little bit more defined in terms of how we get there. And so the first question I have is, how do we harness the power of data more, and in different ways? So for example, I see us always soliciting customer experience feedback directly, customer perceptions, such as through surveys. But I know, and I see the opportunity increasingly to mine data that we have access to from what customers are telling us with their words and with their behavior every single day. And so I'm really appreciative of people that are extremely good at that. I think that's a valuable skill set, and I think it'll be an increasingly valuable skill set in this work as we seek to have more real-time access to information, as well as more accurate information in the moment that we can react to and meet customer needs. The other thing, I love what Gloria said about collaboration. I think one of the challenges working in the American healthcare system in the United States is it's not just collaboration within an entity. It's I think we require collaboration across entities, because a lot of the customer experience challenges that I come across are ones in which you have two companies that are serving a customer, but they're not necessarily working from the same set of data, or they're not communicating appropriately, or there's just a miss in the handoff, and that causes friction. And so that's hard when you have proprietary information and things like that. And so that's kind of a question that I'm pursuing, is how do we maximize experiences that don't just live within the control of one group?
Awesome. Yeah, that's a really great question, you know, for all of us to ask ourselves. It's something really interesting for us to pursue, for sure. So thank you for giving something so interesting for us to continue to chew on. I appreciate it. I'd also like to welcome back to the stream then as well, Jeannie Walters again. Jeannie was another judge that really got to know Danielle a lot throughout this process. So Jeannie, what really stuck out to you about Danielle's nomination?
Well, let me just say again, congratulations, not only on this, but also on your recently earned CXPA. That's very exciting. And we're always thrilled to hear that. I really was struck by how you applied your background with your MBA and with your business acumen, because I think a lot of times CX has this reputation. People think, oh, I could do that, right? Like, I'll just step in. And they don't always apply the business strategy and the business discipline lens. And the way that you talked about that, I found very impressive, that you have a real handle on that. And not only that, but you know, what we heard from you just now, you're really looking to the future and asking big questions. And I think customer experience is all about discovering hard truths. And sometimes that means just asking those hard questions. So that really struck out. And then personally, I also really appreciated that you mentioned how important diversity and equity is, because I think we as customer experience professionals, we are designing human experiences, and that affects everybody. And so we are part of that solution if we're doing things well. We're asking those hard questions, and we're trying to be part of the solution. So thank you for all you're bringing to the industry. Thank you for all of the efforts so far, and just congratulations. This is really exciting, and I'm really excited to see how you'll lead with those business disciplines and with that lens as well. So congratulations.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Yes. Danielle, again, congratulations to you. Thank you so much for joining our broadcast today. Looking forward to working with you. And Jeannie, we're not done with you yet. We'll see you again soon.
Thanks.
All righty. Our next emerging leader that I'm excited to bring onto the stream today is Alec Dalton. Alec, good afternoon.
Good afternoon and good morning and good evening to others around the world. I'm so pleased to be here and so humbled to receive this honor.
Yeah, thank you. It's kind of funny. We do kind of have to do the Truman Show greeting, right? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, as we speak to such a global audience here. Alec, you had such a powerful story in terms of how you got into customer experience, and I really wanted to make sure that we shared that in the broadcast too. That it was while you were at Disney World as a kid when you had that moment of, wait a second, this whole experience is designed for me. And that's something that you wanted to pursue and give to other people as well. So how did you, continue to evolve and grow into the customer experience professional that you are today, from all the way back when you were a 10-year-old visiting Disney World?
I was such a lucky kid to have that light bulb moment and to have a family that appreciated experiences as much as I did. I think hearing from so many colleagues in the CX profession around the world many of us got our starts in experiences ourselves because we enjoy experiences. We are customers day to day. And so, like you mentioned, and like I talked about briefly in the video clip at the beginning, when I was 10 years old on a family vacation to Disney World, in the midst of all of the magic, it clicked for me that there were people who not only made that happen day in and day out, and at Disney they call them cast members, but there were people who Disney called Imagineers who designed those experiences from the very beginning. And it started an absolute fascination with how that works. What are the tools and the techniques and the technologies and processes behind it? So I started school at Boston University with dual degrees in business as well as in hospitality administration, trying to learn a lot more about how operation and marketing and organizational behavior fit together and create those experiences. And along the way, I learned that this profession exists. And I was, in many respects, introduced to it through my mentor and nominator, Carl Cherise, who I'm eternally indebted to. But in addition to working through the School of Academia, I also got my foot in the door through the School of Hard Knocks, if you will. And I worked for Disney. I worked with the Ritz-Carlton Hotel Company and 5 luxury hotels altogether to learn the hospitality business from the ground up and from the front line of customer experience up, to see how these best-in-class companies create these cultures and processes to manifest legendary customer experiences. And so today I serve as the Senior Manager of Global Quality for Marriott International and get to work with a fantastic team as we improve guest experiences for over 7,500 hotels around the world and across 30 leading brands. In addition, I've recently formed the Hospitality Leadership Academy, a consultancy focused on helping other organizations embrace the principles of great customer service and deliberately designed customer experiences that they can lead and delight their customers and dazzle their employees and deliver business returns as well. It's been a fantastic journey. And again, I'm so humbled with this honor.
Great. Thank you so much, Alec. You are also, currently in the hospitality industry, which I'm sure has been seeing a lot of recent change. That's for sure. But what is your vision for customer experience in the future? Where do you think we're headed?
I see 2 big themes that I personally feel a lot of passion about, and my colleagues who came before me on the show today actually hinted at a couple of them. So Brandon and Danielle both talked about data, and they talked about digital. And even working in a traditionally brick and mortar business, COVID has shown that we need to infuse digital into those customer experiences, whether they're hotels or restaurants or cruise lines or casinos, especially as the Internet of Things evolves and we live in a world with Alexa and Echo and other technologies that make us ever more connected. We need to think about customer experiences not so much in terms of the traditional line of a customer journey, but in terms of a manner in which a brand can infuse itself in the lifestyle of our customers. And so that's an area that I'm really keen to see us continue to push forward. But then, as Gloria mentioned, I think there are also tremendous opportunities where we as a profession, as we mature, can start to document and do a better job of connecting and sharing the best practices and the tools and techniques. And she mentioned the taxonomies, so that we can continue to build on that and again, push forward into the future. And it's a bright one. I'm excited.
That's great. Thank you, Alec. I'd like to bring back into the broadcast Gokhan Kara again, one of our judges and board member of CXPA. Gokhan, got the chance to get to know you a lot throughout this entire process. So Gokhan, what stuck out to you with Alec's nomination?
Thanks so much, Derek. First of all, Alec, congratulations. You really deserve that. I really impressed. I was in your interview and I said that first, I really impressed. And second, you are so lucky. You started with Disney to that journey and you continue with the Ritz-Carlton Marriott. But like you said, you started this journey in when you were 10 years old. In her video, Gloria said that the CX, I didn't choose CX. The CX has chosen me. I think it's the same to you too, because you started with Disney World and you put your target to yourself that I will be in that business, and you put a lot of beautiful things to CX profession and hospitality sector. and you're not. I'm seeing a lot of great books behind you. So you are a lifelong learner, like Gloria, but you're not stopping there. You're sharing that knowledge with the community. I think that's that's a good part, and that's really deserves kudos. You are giving a keynote speech. You are judging in some organizations. You are writing articles about CX, and I would like to thank you for that. Thank you every effort you put for this organization, and you really deserve that. Congratulations again.
Thank you very much, Gökhan.
Yeah, Alex, on behalf of really the entire CXPA, another big congratulations to you. Looking forward to continuing to working with you. And Gökhan, we're not done with you yet either. We'll see you again soon in another minute or so, another couple minutes. So Alec, congratulations again. We'll see you soon.
Thank you all. Thank you.
And last but certainly not least, it is time to introduce you to the fifth winner of this year's Emerging Leader Award, and that is Laura Tram. Laura, good afternoon to you.
Hi there. Nice to see you today.
Yeah, thank you. So Laura, you have, again, such an interesting and fascinating introduction into customer experience, especially given your background in academia. So tell us more about that story, how you found customer experience.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So as you saw in the video, I come from academia, so I have a PhD in psychology, and I did a lot of work in psychology and measurement and statistics. And so when I was, finishing up my PhD and thinking about what I wanted to do next, and I realized I didn't want to stay in academia, and I discovered sort of CX as a field. And what I love about it is it's this intersection of psychology and analytics and strategy. So from the psychology side, who are your customers? Really getting inside their head, figure out what they're thinking, what they need, what matters to them, and what's going to change their behavior. And then, how do you measure that in a way that is going to actually be actionable? And then from the analytics side, presenting and socializing that information in a way that's compelling and persuasive to business leaders. So really telling a story with the data you have. And then on the strategy side, figuring out how to transform a business to meet those needs. So where can you get the biggest bang for your buck? What needs to happen operationally or procedurally or strategically to really impact your customers and meet those needs? So all of that was really what drew me to CX and why I continue to, enjoy doing it every day.
Yeah, Laura, you had such a great quote as well during your finalist interview, which was, how much you have a passion for measuring those things that are hard to measure. And wow, I think every customer experience team around the world needs a Laura Tram on their team for somebody who has so much passion doing that difficult work. So Laura, what is your vision for a customer experience in the future? Where are we headed?
Yeah, I think what's really important for our field and for our roles is to be able to develop a partnership with leadership in the organization. So not just being the survey center, like, okay, you checked the box, you met your CSAT goal this month, like gold star, good for you, but really becoming a trusted advisor in the organization. And so, helping the organization learn about the customers. So not just here's who your customers are, but here's what they want and here's what to do about it. And then here's why this is critical for your business. Like, this is why you shouldn't care about this. And then tracking as they make any sort of, changes to see where the impact's actually happening and what happens next. And so in order to do that, you need a couple things. So first of all, you need to think about the story that we're telling with our data. And I think storytelling is such a huge part of CX to make sure that we're getting that information to the senior leaders in a way that they're going to listen to, as well as to the frontline people who are carrying out a lot of these experiences to really make that story clear and persuasive is really important. And a big part of that is thinking broadly about data. I know a number of people have talked about data. I'm a data person at heart. So, from the customer side, obviously data from customers, so blending surveys, interviews, focus groups, but also operational data to get to that sort of tactical piece. But then also from the business impact side and really thinking broadly about what impacts can we see from our work. So not just how does this impact revenue, but things like how could we maybe have cost savings in our call center, or where even could we create efficiencies or cut corners internally without impacting CX? Where are the areas that are less important for customers where we could make changes that, improve the employee experience or the bottom line while still protecting CX. So again, it's not we want to make sure that we're not just checking a box, but really making a strategic impact on the business and, of course, on customers as well.
That's great, Laura. Thank you so much. It's interesting, you have been introducing yourself as such a data person, but you clearly also have that storytelling skill as well, and being persuasive with how you are presenting the data, which is so important for customer experience professionals to have. So, thank you, and congratulations again for all of your accomplishments. I would like to bring Jeannie Walters again back onto the stream. She's another judge that spent a lot of time getting to know you. So, Jeannie. Why is Laura one of the winners of the Emerging Leader Award?
Well, congratulations, Laura. First of all, very exciting. And I'm just down the road in Oak Park, so I'm experiencing the same kind of weather of this upper Midwest that we're all representing here. But what really stood out to me in hearing your videos and your background is that combination that you bring of that psychology background and really wanting to understand who our customers are, as well as applying that to not just let's make great experiences, but how do we measure that? How do we make sure that we're doing that on behalf of the business as much as the customers? Because that's a challenge in our industry, is really connecting all those dots. And then the other thing that you just reinforced in the way that you spoke is that this is never really done. It's not like we can say, oh, we figured out the perfect way to measure something, and so we'll just keep doing that for 100 years. It's all about uncovering nuances and those, individual insights that you can gain by evolving how we measure as well. And that's something not everybody tackles. And I think it's such an important part of really understanding customers and then being able to look ahead and predict how can we really deliver for them long term as well. So all of that really added up for me, and your passion really comes through as well. You clearly love what you're doing and you see a future there too, which is really exciting. So feels like, again, we're in really good hands in this industry with all these amazing leaders who are up and coming. So thank you for all of that you've done, and congratulations. It's a thrill to be here with you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Laura, congratulations to you. Looking forward to continuing to work with you and support you throughout the next year. So take care until then. Try to stay warm, be safe, and we'll see you again soon, Laura.
Thank you.
All right, so now I'd like to have on the stream this time both of our judges. So still we have Jeannie here with us, and I'm inviting Gokhan back on too. So Jeannie and Gokhan, you both spent many, many hours judging this award, and it was difficult. All of our judges talked about just how hard it was to figure out who the finalists are, the 10 finalists, and finally who the 5 winners were from the 10 finalists. So Gokhan, I would like to start with you. What were some of the takeaways that you had, after judging this award?
Yeah, first of all, it was so hard, Derek, like you said, because justice is one of my key values in my life. So I really try to be careful when I'm evaluating these nominees. But all of them, I saw that the passion, like I said before, because all of them was really experienced and effective leaders in their industries and in the CX profession. And as a judge, I learned a lot, by the way, from them. We are evaluating them, but we are at the same time we are learning from them a lot with their passion, with the things they have done for the CX profession. So it was tough, yes, but it was really fun, and I learned a lot from this process.
That's great, Gokhan. And again, thank you so much for all of your hard work. Jeannie, how about yourself? What are some of the things that you learned? What are some of your takeaways?
Well, I just want to echo what Gokhan just said, because it was hard. There were so many great people who really submitted amazing videos. So every single person who, I looked through, who I had the honor of judging, I would say they're all winners. They really are. But it really was about looking to the future for me, making sure that these are leaders who are not, looking for that next CX title. They're really looking for what can we do as CX professionals, and how can we add to not only the community of CX professionals, but the CX industry. And I also looked for, who's out there still learning all the time, because that's such a big part of this profession, is really just continuously evolving and learning from one another and sharing what we learned with one another so that we can grow as a profession. And I will also echo what Gokhan said about the passion. That came through quite a bit. And I was really impressed with how much self-drive they all had to learn and to find the books and to look for the resources and to really just create their own path until they kind of figured out which path they were on. And I think that's something we can all relate to as CX professionals, but it takes that motivation, that internal motivation, to get to this point. And so, 3 cheers for all of them, because it was really a cool thing to do. And I did learn from them. I learned about, wow, there are so many different ways to come into this profession. How amazing is that? Like, we have this amazing community. It just reaffirmed so much that I was already all in, but now I'm all in +1.
Awesome. That is really great to hear. Jeannie and Gokhan, seriously, thank you so much for all of your hard work and helping us pilot this brand new program. Really is going to provide such a tremendous benefit to the entire community. I'm so thankful for both of your involvement. And I cannot wait for other projects to spring up in the future for us to continue to work with each other again. So until next time, Jeannie and Gokhan, again, thank you so much.
Thank you. Congratulations, everybody.
All right, audience, I know that we're a little bit past our time today. One thing that I want to quickly remind you all, though, since we are all here and all a part of CXPA to continue our own professional development, there truly is no better way to do that than by taking a look at our Mentor Match program. CXPA has a mentoring program that is open year-round. You can visit it and learn more about it at cxpa.org/advanceyourcareer/mentor-match. We have mentors that are open and available to coaching new mentees and mentees. If you're looking to do that, all that you have to do to get involved is visit our website, fill out a quick profile, and then find that mentor who you believe can help you achieve your professional goals. And who knows, maybe we'll see you up here on this virtual stage then sometime in the near future. I do have one more video that is going to play us out, and that is some video messages from some of our other judges who were not able to be a part of today's broadcast. So I hope that you stick around for the next minute and a half or so, just to continue to congratulate all of our emerging leader in CX Awards. And I'm looking forward to continuing to work with all of you and support with you throughout your career as well. So take care, everybody, and hope to see you next time.
Hi, this is Sarah with Happier Not in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I just want to say how proud I am for everything that you're doing, and my family and I want to say congratulations.
Hello everyone, this is Ankesh from sunny Dubai. Many congratulations to all our CX emerging leaders. It was really heartening to see so much of CX talent across the globe and the work you guys have done. Honestly, for me as well as the other judges, it was a daunting task to pick the final list. To me, all of you are doing fabulous work in the CX space, and your stories have inspired me. We firmly believe that all of you will take CX to a greater height.
Hi, fellow CXPAers. It's Rebecca Wilson from Australia, and I just wanted to say how honoured and thrilled I was to be involved in the judging for our Emerging Leaders Award, and congratulate everyone who put in a submission, and everyone who got through to the final round, and of course the winners. I really look forward to speaking with you more and learning from you. I learned so much myself from being involved.
Hi everyone, I'm Santik Moran from Malaysia, and I'm one of the judges for the Emerging Leader in CX Awards. I would like to congratulate all the winners and contestants for this category. Be passionate and be dynamic to uplead this industry. All the best to you guys. Thank you.
So thanks very much.
Ciao.
Woo!